Now they are still on the opposite side. While we do our loop, I believe that James has a breeding herd of buffalo to show you. And we'll be back with you shortly, hopefully with some wild dogs.
So everybody, very exciting news that there are wild dogs coming basically from where I'm pointing, hopefully to the north. This is our southern boundary, so we cannot obviously cross this boundary going that way where the buffalo are going, but a beautiful big herd of buffalo here heading south into the reserve just to the south of us, and they don't have to listen to the property laws of humans. They can come and go as they please. And I'm just going to sneak slightly forward.
Look what we found! How epic is this? What a brilliant way to start off 2016. Oh, that is so exciting. And we've just got so lucky. Oh, and we're going to lie down in the road. Oh, this is so exciting. First time I've seen wild dogs in ages, and they popped out right into the road in front of us. It was exceptionally considerate of them. Hello, guys. Did you not time that very well? Oh, one of them's carrying something. What is he carrying? It's one of the adults who's... Oh, it disappeared off. Got a piece of meat. They've obviously killed something. And of course, the wild dogs have this tremendously interesting social system. I'm just going to pull off to the side to give another vehicle a view as well. Ryan for Jamie. Letting one of the other vehicles go through ahead of us. This was their sighting originally. We did essentially bump it by sheer luck. Now they are going to cross into Boyatella. We may have to move out of the sighting for now, just because there were 3 other vehicles in the sighting before us. We just got lucky because of the way that wild dogs move, that we encountered them. There they go, running down the road towards James. James is on the other side. What an exciting way to start the day. Still trying to work out which pack it is. I think it's the Investec pack, but I'm not 100% certain at all. I'm just going to move up and let Ryan come past. That James is trying to contact me. We're going to have to pull out of the sighting for now because there are 3 vehicles here and they were in the sighting originally, but we'll come back as soon as they move on to Boyatella. Sorry guys, we will be with that wild dog sighting. It was just because we actually...
Just quickly quickly, everybody, we are right on the border, as is Jamie with those dogs, of course. That's the injured hyena from yesterday, already looking better. And we had questions about whether we'd put him out of his misery. No. While he does look fairly ropey still, he's already looking better than yesterday. He's a long way from the den, perfectly mobile, going into Hoffman's to see if he can find something to eat. So that's good news. Just wanted to show you that quickly. I think Jamie is trying to get into that sighting. It's on a border, and actually we can probably show you what's going on here more easily than she could, because she would have been under tremendous pressure there to get in and out of the sighting. The dogs are going into Djuma. That's great news. There are 3 vehicles there from Little Gowrie, which is south of us. There you can see the dogs going into Djuma, and because there are 3 vehicles, we're right on a border, of course, which means that people are coming from all sides. And so that's why Jamie will not be allowed to be in that sighting. We are miles away from it. So I'm more than happy to just sit here. We'll get a view of the dogs there. They are heading to the right-hand side of your picture into Djuma, which is great news. There are 3 people in that sighting, so I won't be allowed to stay here if they come closer. But we can certainly just be on the border. It's one of these situations where it's awkward. It's just awkward because obviously they are on the border. So I'm not going to move further from where I am now. I'm just going to turn around so that we can get a view as you come this way. What a wonderful New Year's gift that is. So we'll just sit here. We're perfectly within our rights to say where we are. The reason we don't put more than 3 vehicles into a sighting is twofold. One is that we don't want to pressure the animals too much, and the other, of course, is that if you are a tourist and you've come out here and you want a wilderness experience, and so the guide's generally very good about sharing these sightings. You don't want to be in a sighting with another 10 vehicles. That would just be horrible. So they're coming straight down from the front of us. Jamie, go ahead. Jamie's just trying to get hold of me on the radio.
Yeah, James, I've left on the dash for now, but it looks like they're going to cross north into where it's just the 3 vehicle sighting. But it looks like they've all moved across now, so I'm going to move back in, see if I can stay with them.
Okay, I am on Weaver's Nest Road now. We did have visual. They seem to be coming around this way, so we're standing by here. So keep us posted if you get visual. We don't have visual at the moment. So Jamie is just up there. She's doing exactly what I'm doing, kind of waiting this side of the border, hoping that they're going to come north, and it seems that they are heading north.
Also, I'm coming from Torchwood Kaya, so we'll be coming along government to the west.
So we'll just have to stand by here, I'm afraid. We can maybe stick our nose. Let's stick our noses out onto the road. Let's see. I can't tell you how smooth and wonderful this car is since Opar changed the shocks. It was the foulest thing to drive before. Basically heading for Treehouse Dam if they go north, yeah? Yeah, you can still see them up there. Just sitting underneath the power lines. That is them there, isn't it, Brian? Or is that just the vehicles? No, that's Jamie. I think they're coming along there. We're just going to get some information from Ryan here quickly. Ducking north. Cool. Right here. Thank you very much. Happy New Year. That's Ryan, everybody. They are here. in Juma. Brilliant news. Ryan, let me see. Tell me if you see a wild dog, will you? Should be coming through this area. And here are a couple of hornbills along. Pretty sure we'll find them. Where? So Nicole, yes, your first time to see wild dogs, great news. You see when we see them almost as like our first time every time as well. We will go blasting off road if we have to. I just need to get an idea of where they are first. Ryan's turned right, which means they cannot be this way. I think they went straight north. Let's turn right here. Now we must contact Jamie. Jamie, come in. Jamie, have you got visual where you are? Obviously not, otherwise you wouldn't be staring at the back of my head, you'd be looking at her. Any idea of direction?
Straight north, left long, just to the west of the net.
We're going to go in here. Jamie says they went straight north into the block here. She'll be looking around inside the block. Cheers, everybody. They were coming right through here. They move at a tremendous speed. The elephants have unfortunately made such a mess of the road here. Just going to have a quick listen here. I think we should go around. We're going to go straight through here to the other road here. So this can be a slightly frustrating process. While I'm trying to turn this car around, let's go across to Jamie, see how she's doing. She's just over there, I think, and I'll see you shortly. There they are, everybody, having a drink here at Treehouse Dam. The last water over the little ones, the puppies, like me. Too special. So very interesting information that we had yesterday from Pippa Moolman, who's the landowner. That little patch of water there was a natural spring that apparently was there from before this dam was built, and that's why it's the last water here. The elephants know to dig down there, so they've dug down into that water. And now the dogs are enjoying the fruits of their mining expedition. The two adults have gone off that way to the left of your screen. You don't need to look at them now. And these are mainly the puppies. There'll be one adult here. We can try and get a little bit closer. This is such a special thing, everyone. My favorite animal out here, Brent's favorite animal, probably just about stay, Gus. Here, let's put you up. They've killed, definitely they've killed. There's an adult, I think. There's an adult there lying in the water with blood all over her face. This is fantastic. Oh, this is just amazing. And there's the one digging there. She seems to be falling asleep in the mud, yeah. One of them's digging. Just wonderful, wonderful stuff, this. Best possible New Year gift. They look so slight. They always look so, almost sort of so breakable and fragile, and yet they are incredibly strong. And if ever there was an animal that worked as a team, it is the African wild dog. And you can smell them. Now, Sharon in Pittsburgh, an interesting one. We get this quite a lot about when you see them lifting their legs to pee. Is it a learned behavior? Is it just something they do? Sharon, I think what you'll find is it's probably a little bit of both, but I think it's got largely to do with their equipment. Unlike a cat, of course, which has a recurved penis which sticks out the back of the legs, so, you know, if you want to have a pee and not wet your legs, you can just lift your tail. A dog, if it wants to use that pee or urine for territorial marking, they must lift their legs because the penis faces out frontwards, and so they need to lift their legs in order to mark territory. That's why puppies don't. They squat happily, but with an adult dog, I think it's probably almost entirely instinctual. This is wonderful. That's a youngster we're looking at. No, that's not mouse. That's the one. There are only 3 adults in this pack, as far as I can understand. This is the Investec pack. 11 puppies, just 3 adults, and that these 3 adults have managed to raise this pack, all these puppies. Just the 3 of them is amazing. You can see it's an exhausting work. She's obviously very tired, and she's gone to sleep there in the mud, and you can see bits and pieces of their breakfast. Now, these puppies will not be killing yet on their own. Apparently sort of 8 months or so. So they'll start to make their first kills fairly soon. But you can imagine the effort of trying to keep these 11 youngsters filled with food. Twice a day, I think you'll find that these adults have to kill. Right, and Jamie is just behind us with the other 2 adults, so let's pop across to her, and I'll stay right here with the puppies.
Now we're sitting probably about 40 meters away from James with 2 of the pack adults. The individual on the left is the female, and if this is the Investec pack, then she is the only female in this pack at this point. There's 2 adult males in the Investec pack, as well as 1 adult female. James has mentioned that he saw the female lying in the water with the puppies. The individual on the left is absolutely, certainly a female. She's definitely a female. I had a very good view of her just before she went to go and lie down. We've only got the 2 here. There isn't a third one, is there? Let's just do a quick loop, get a better view, and maybe we can see. Because if there's 2 females, then it means that this is the half-tail pack. not the investing pack, but she's definitely a female. No, it's just the two of them here. Hello, guys. Awesome.
Two WildEarth vehicles here. We only need one, so definitely if people want to move in here, we'll move out as soon as the third station arrives.
Sorry, guys. Just let me go onto the Game Drive channel for 1 second.
Yeah, I didn't. No, I did not like it.
Yeah, from when you approach, just let me know. I'll pull out of the sighting. Oh, isn't this incredible to see? We are so lucky. What a wonderful way to start off the year. With their giant satellite-like ears. Now they have the most incredible stamina. And what makes them one of the most effective hunters out here is the fact that they essentially course through an area and chase down their prey by sheer pure will of stamina. And Dave, who's watching in Toronto, you were wondering what's the furthest I've ever seen or heard of wild dog chasing prey or traveling with prey. And it's probably usually somewhere in the region in a straight line of about 5 kilometers, although the animals themselves will run much further because they bob and they weave and they change direction all the time. But usually at that sort of point, the animal that's being chased starts to develop what's known as chase myopathy. So their heart muscles start to give out, just due to sheer stress on their bodies. And the wild dogs are built to cope with those kinds of speeds and those distances. And the amazing thing about wild dogs is on a day like today, on a cloudy day like today, they can cover the most enormous distances at this very casual, I don't know how to describe it, it's a very easy trot. It's completely effortless, and they can carry on without seeming to need to pause. Well, I think now that the temperatures are starting to heat up, they're probably going to spend the rest of their day very close to Treehouse Dam. There's some very full bellies, though. I think they have had something to eat. And of course, one of my favorite things about the wild dog is those wonderful ears that are built like radar dishes. And Eric, you were mentioning how incredibly large they are and wondering if they serve a cooling function as well as a listening function. And I don't think so. Not a major cooling function, not in the same way that panting helps to cool them down. But I'm sure that there is that aspect to it as well. There will be the normal blood flow through the ear. So it'll be a way of, they will lose heat through the big ears, but I don't think that's their main purpose. I think we discussed it a lot about why wild dogs have the ears that they have. And one of the reasons, of course, is as they rush through the bush, being able to hear prey and immediately be onto the hunt. But there's also the fact that they disperse enormously during the hunt. And they need to link up with the rest of the pack members. Now, there are other vehicles wanting to come into the sighting, and since the wild dogs have now gone flat, we're probably going to leave them, and we're going to send you, for now, back across to James, who has the rest of the pack in the dam.
So everything is calm and settled and marvellous here. All the puppies are lying there, very contented, being fed by these long-suffering adults. And if we just look at that adult there who's lying in the puddle, I wonder if she's not slightly injured. If you look under her eye, she's got a cut. think that's from the morning's hunt. It might be fairly, I don't think that's particularly painful for her. But the fact that she's laying down in the mud there while the other adults have moved off, I think it's interesting. I don't know if it's a she, so maybe you can tell me whether the other two were both males, because in this pack, the 2 adult males and 1 adult female, so there'll be an alpha pair and basically 1 omega male. And so it might just be that this is an omega adult who's, nursemaiding almost these youngsters. But the fact that she's lying in the water there indicates to me that she might have a bit of an injury.
Robin, Maryland, how is the female able to nurse a 7 puppy? Robin, Maryland.
Robin, Maryland, without being facetious about your question or answering your question, because it's a good one, how on earth does a female manage to nurse 11 puppies with many teats? Robin, that's basically how. And I'm not sure how many teats a dog has. I think a dog's got 8 teats, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 8. Robin, so she'll nurse 8 at a time, and then they'll share. So they'll drink for a while, and then some will go off, and the rest will drink. And so once that's how the nursing happens, and then they start eating meat pretty soon after they're born, and that will be regurgitated by it. Then the onus falls on all the adults to feed them, so they will all they'll all regurgitate food for the youngsters. So with difficulty, Robin, but I've seen packs of, some litters, you can get up to 18 dogs in one litter, and she manages to nurse those. It is really amazing. That's only 1 female. Remember, in the packs, only the alpha pair will breed normally. Sometimes a beta pair will breed, but that alpha pair can produce up to 18 little puppies. And you'd expect, therefore, especially given their hunting success, that they would be one of the most successful carnivores out here, that they'd be much more common than lions or leopards, and they're not. I think it's probably largely to do with the fact that they pick up human diseases, not human, but domestic dog diseases. You might just be able to hear them twittering quietly to each other. Maddie, a very astute question for a 9-year-old. Happy New Year to you. Why are you not in bed yet? Maddie, you want to know why they're endangered? Maddie, they're endangered because they come into contact with human beings, or with human being dogs, and domestic dogs carry diseases that these wild dogs have no resistance to. Diseases like rabies and canine distemper and various other domestic dog diseases, and they come into contact with domestic dogs because they roam so widely. Their home ranges are enormous, up between 450 and 1,000 square kilometers, and in miles, that's roughly, let me just do the maths here, 1,000 square kilometers is probably roughly 600 square miles would be, so that's an enormous home range. And so that means that they cross fences. If they're in a small game reserve, then they're going to go out of the fence. Somehow they'll dig under it, and then they're going to go into areas outside of the reserves where they will come into contact with domestic dogs, and they pick up their diseases. And that's the major reason they are so endangered. For many, many years, we as human beings shot them because they were considered vermin. We didn't like them because, we were trying to farm in these areas. And, that's a very sad truth, but, that's what it is. Nice question. Thank you, Maddie. They seem to be on a slight population rise at the moment, but they're still definitely in bad shape population-wise. But this is the wolf of Africa. If ever Africa had a wolf, this was it. And Billy, just along the lines of the endangered nature of these wild dogs, you want to know, what's their prognosis? What do I think they will be the outcome? Will they go extinct? Will they survive? Billy, I'm pretty sure they'll be okay for now. I think there are enough of them for the population to survive even one major disease outbreak. So if you go to, say, something like the Amur leopard or even the Amur tiger in the far east of Russia, there are 50 Amur leopards left. It'll take one disease to kill the species entirely, or the subspecies entirely. Likewise, there are about 450 of the tigers left, and again, it could be one disease that could sweep through the population and kill them all almost immediately. The dogs, there are probably about 2,500 left. They're not all in one place. Some are in Botswana, some in East Africa, some here. So, I think they're looking okay at the moment. I certainly wouldn't describe them as safe, but I think they're looking okay at the moment. And Anna-Marie, yep, you're absolutely right. You can see why they're called painted wolves, because of the incredible colours that they have. And there are a couple of characteristics that you'll find on just about all the dogs. And that's a black stripe down the front of the forehead, a white tail tip, and black backs to the ears. There's the other adult. That's male. So it's the alpha pair. The alpha pair is the other side there. That's the other adult male.
Yeah, positive. No problem. Just put me in a standby there. I'll take a jig around here. Make your way.
Now, Miss Saar, you're in Wisconsin and you want to know about the hierarchy of these animals. Miss Saar, you'll find that they're completely different from hyenas. They're not matriarchal. They're exactly the same as wolves, where there's an alpha pair, and the alpha will look after, the alpha pair will look after the dogs and lead the pack, an alpha male and alpha female. And so it's very much a sort of couple that leads the pack. The male alpha will lead the hunt. That's his job. And the female will kind of assist him to take the second lead, and only they will breed. So it's completely different from a hyena clan, which is totally female dominated. Females are much bigger than males. All females in the clan can breed, and the males play no leadership role at all. So the adult's gone off to join his adult companions, and we've now just got the 11 pups. Very nice question from Jared. Would these dogs attack and kill that injured hyena if they came across it? Yes, they would, definitely. But what you would also find is that with these little puppies, the dogs might avoid the hyena. So the hyena on its own is no match for a pack of dogs. But a wild dog on its own versus a hyena is much heavier. So, for competition's sake, yes, they would probably kill the hyena if they could get hold of it. So, Christy, very nice question, and it just plays into the predator hierarchy. Christy, you want to know if a pack of wild dogs met a clan of hyenas over a kill, and they were the same numbers, who would win? The hyenas would totally dominate them. The hyenas are much bigger than the dogs, and therefore it's just a question of size. The predator hierarchy out here normally goes lion and hyena at the top, and that changes dependent on number. Hyena are formidable creatures. just below lions. I mean, lions are obviously at the top, but hyenas then in second place. Normally, this is all numbers being equal, and then you'll have wild dogs, and then some way below that you'll find leopard and lion and cheetah, the two solitary animals. Trying to have a drink, but actually just befouling the water. You need the elephants to come and sort it out again for them. And Marisha, yes, they have certainly grown. They're almost the same size as the adults. And because of that, they're going to have to start killing for themselves now, because they can't expect mum, dad, and nurse to keep killing for them. They're going to get very hungry if they expect that to happen the whole time. Very muddy face, very sweet little fellow. Oh, they are just magnificent, these dogs. James Richard, an interesting question from you about their coloration, why they are that coloration. You say because they don't stalk their prey, they probably don't need to be camouflaged. No, I don't think that's the case at all, James. I think that this camouflage looks precisely like army fatigues. It's exactly how, you would camouflage yourself in the bush out here. The white tail tip, of course, is very obvious, and that's so that they can follow each other through the thick bush. They will watch those white tail tips flicking through the bush. But otherwise, if you watch them walking through the woodland here, through the dappled light, especially when they hunt, but I mean, I've seen packs of, some litters, you can get up to 18 dogs in one litter, and she manages to nurse those. It is really amazing. That's only one female. Remember, in the packs, only the alpha pair will breed normally. Sometimes a beta pair will breed, but that alpha pair can produce up to 18 little puppies. And you'd expect, therefore, especially given their hunting success, that they would be one of the most successful carnivores out here, that they'd be much more common than lions or leopards, and they're not. I think it's probably largely to do with the fact that they pick up human disease, not human, but domestic dog diseases. You might just be able to hear them twittering quietly to each other. Maddie, a very astute question for a 9-year-old. Happy New Year to you. Why are you not in bed? You do that. I think that they all three are probably equally as important, and they'll adapt according to the conditions that they're in. But the ears, certainly, like you say, are enormous. And Scott made a very interesting observation the other day. We were discussing why they're so big, and he said, well, he thought, and I think, it seems obvious after he said it, but very astutely said, well, they've got big ears like that because when they separate from each other, they contact call, and they need to be able to hear each other to make contact again. So I think those ears are extremely important. Noses, maybe their noses not quite as much as other animals like hyenas, because they only eat fresh meat. They don't scavenge, so they don't need to smell for fresh meat, but they will need those noses to follow each other again. That's a very important sense for them. Eyes, definitely visual predators. So, Matthew, I'd say all three extremely important. I definitely wouldn't be able to rate one over the other. And just quickly count them. I haven't counted them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, all here. And James Richard, you want to know what the biggest animal a wild dog will hunt is. Biggest animal that I've got on record of them hunting is a wildebeest. So they will take adult wildebeest, big packs of dogs, especially in East Africa, will take adult wildebeest down if they have to. marvellous. Just very special, and I think they'll probably spend the rest of the day here having a drink. They'll move into the shade at some stage because the driving summer sun will burn this cloud away, I'm sure, come 11 o'clock. And that's pretty much it from us. So a very, very happy new year to those of you in the United States to whom it's just happening now. We're looking forward to a great 2016. Thank you, Brian, for your efforts. Big thank you to Jamie, and she was being filmed by... It was Jamie this morning. Tebs. Thank you to Louise and Geraldine in the final control. Have a great leave, Louise. We'll see the rest of you at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Bye-bye, and Happy New Year.